What's going on YouTube? My name is Jason. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. In this video I wanted to talk about how to get your CPL in Washington if you are out of state, but also in state, because it's kind of a similar process, but quite frankly I think the out of state process is slightly easier. So a quick backstory: I have family that lives in Seattle, Washington. I'm from Florida. I live in Florida. My family that lives over there is from Florida, but they moved over there a few years ago because now they work for Boeing. I just went up to Washington last year over the summer because my brother-in-law was proposing to his now fiance, and while I was there, since I figured my girlfriend and I would be there back and forth more often, we should just apply for our CPL since we're going. While we were there, we did a lot of hiking and outdoor stuff. That's what we like to do. So I did a lot of open carrying there as well. And I'm also going to make a video about open carry versus concealed carry in Washington State, as well as Seattle and the areas around it, because it's not as pro-gun as like Florida. So we'll get into that in a different video. But as far as this video goes, let's talk about how to get your CPL out of state and in state. I'm from South Florida and I do have a concealed carry license here in Florida. However, it does not reciprocate with Washington State. Florida has one of the highest reciprocities you can get from a concealed carry license with 37 states, but Washington State only accepts 9 states concealed carry licenses. So that meant when my girl and I went up there, we had to go get one, as well as my brother-in-law. So the process is actually pretty simple. It's actually easier than doing it here in Florida, even though yes, this is a more pro-gun state. Now we have permitless carry, but before that, the concealed carry process, and you can still get a concealed carry here, but the process is actually harder here in Florida than it is in Washington, and it's cheaper in Washington as well. So I did a lot of digging and a lot of research to figure out how to get a CPL over there. I emailed a few of the precincts back and forth. I did watch some videos, shout out to Washington Gun Law, on kind of helping guide me to the right path. So back during COVID, the process was actually even simpler because you were able to email and ship your fingerprints and do all that stuff online, because I was talking to one of the precincts and the guy was telling me like, yeah, you can just send in your stuffs and this and that and it could work. Once COVID passed, they took that out. You no longer can do it online or by email or anything like that. You have to go in person. So if you're looking to get an out-of-state concealed carry license for Washington State, you have to go there to do it. So basically all you do need is a ID. I think the total that it came out to was like 40 or 50 bucks, but I went to the courthouse downtown. They let me fill out everything right there. So my girl and I, of course, from Florida, obviously, so we had to wait 3 months. They said it was a 3-month waiting period for the out-of-state licensing. They sent it to you. We got it in the mail. My brother-in-law at the time had not yet transferred his license over to Washington State, so he also had to wait 3 months. They said if you got the license before, you could just come back and we'll give it to you sooner. But he ended up just waiting. He got it within the 3 months, and yeah. So essentially, you just have to go to the courthouse. If you're from Washington and you stay there, you have to go to the precinct in your jurisdiction. So I think he lives in Kent, so he was able to go where we went. That was the closest one to the house, because I was just looking at where they stayed at and where we were staying at with them to go to the closest precinct. But you have to go to your jurisdiction. So if you stay in the state of Washington, that means you need to go to a precinct that is in your jurisdiction, that serves your jurisdiction, and that's what you have to do. If you're out of state, you can go to anyone as long as you set the proper appointment. So everything's actually virtual. I was able to make an appointment online. I just showed up, got everything done, and it was a really painless process. They even gave a little pamphlet of the do's and don'ts of carrying in Washington. I think I have it somewhere, but I don't know where it is at the moment. So the Washington State concealed carry, unlike Florida, which is valid for 7 years, Washington State is only valid for 5 years. It just means you got to get it renewed. I actually had them done perfectly to where when I renew them, it'll be in the same exact year, because I had the Florida license for 2 years before I got the Washington State license. And the thing about it is, in Florida, even if you don't have a concealed carry license, granted now we have permitless carry, but prior to that, you were still able to have a loaded gun in your vehicle. In Washington State, you cannot have a loaded gun in your car without a CPL, so it kind of makes it annoying, because let's say you're going on a hike, you got to take the gun out, put a mag in, rack around, top the mag back off, or if you carry empty chamber or whatever, but you have to have the mag out of the gun, and the gun has to be empty when it's in the vehicle unless you have a CPL. It's a lot harder to kind of move around with a gun in that state. I'm just not used to that because I'm from Florida and I've been carrying every day since I've been 21 with no issues. But yeah, I feel like that pretty much covers everything. It's a fairly cheap, painless process. It was like 40 or 50 bucks after tax. I did the fingerprints right there. So if you're in state, you get the license faster than out of state. But if you're out of state, they send it to you. It still comes in 3 months, reasonable time. Like I said, I'll be doing a separate video on open carry versus concealed carry there, and how people kind of deal with firearms over there, especially coming from a Floridian standpoint. So hopefully that helps you guys. Hopefully that can kind of guide you down the right path. It's definitely slightly easier for out-of-state people because you can go to any precinct, like I said, but still a painless process. Just go look up, you know, your exact precinct and make an appointment, go get your fingerprints done, and they send it out to you. In the state of Florida, we have to do a training course prior to getting our concealed carry license to, you know, be able to apply. We have to show that we completed a pistol safety course or a concealed carry class. Washington has nothing of the sort. You literally just go to the courthouse, fill out everything, pay, and you're done. Like, I was surprised how cheap and easy it was. So I find it pretty interesting that the stipulations for a less pro-gun state are actually lowered to get a concealed pistol license over there is what you guys call it. We call it a CCW over here in Florida. But yeah, drop anything in the comments if you feel like I missed anything. If you need some help, let me know. Reach out to me on Instagram at Ferg Tactical. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next video.